Cricket presents The Warmup, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Ted Madden. The long 8-month wait is over as the high school football season starts tonight. The non-district season always has tons of marquee games on the docket, and this year is no different. We start off the season with a bang with some big-time rivalry games in Week 1. Let's preview some of those games in the lineup, presented by Xochitl Chips and Salsa. This will be the 101st installment of the Battle of 287, as Ennis defeated Waxahachie last year in a thriller, 22-21 in overtime. The Lions have a razor-thin advantage in this series with 50 wins against 48 losses and 2 ties. And it's rare for this rivalry to take place in Week 1. The Indians are hoping to make the postseason for the second straight year and have high hopes behind running back Iverson Young and quarterback Roderick Hartsfield. As for Ennis, they spent every week last year ranked in the top 10 of 5A Division II, but failed to make it past the area round. They expect big things this year, especially with 2,500-yard passer Jackson Gilkey behind center. This one is always a wild environment, so get there early. Looking for another game where the crowds will be raucous on both sides? Head to Burleson for the battle for the boot. Centennial and Burleson are knotted up at 5 wins apiece in this series, with the Elks dominating last year 40-13. Burleson lost quite a bit to graduation, and the transfer of highly regarded quarterback Dylan Raiola to an Arizona high school didn't help much either. However, head coach John Kitna feels his young players have grown up fast this offseason. Meanwhile, Centennial has experience from last year's team that went a couple of rounds deep in the playoffs. Defensive back Chapman Lewis is a hard hitter in the secondary, while Philip Hamilton is back to run the Spartans' spread option offense.
Enjoy the authentic flavors of ancient recipes. So thin, so crisp, so good. So chill.
Come into Cricket Wireless and get any LTE Android free when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Grandview has been a staple in the 3A playoff the past few years, and this year they returned 15 starters from a year ago. One of those starters, Kason English, plays both ways for the Zebras, and we caught up with Kason on the recruiting trail.
I'm Kason English. I play wide receiver and cornerback for my school, and I go to Grandview High School. I think my best dream college scenario would most likely be the University of Texas, because Austin is maybe 3 hours away from my house, so I think that's a perfect distance from my family to where they can come watch me on my game days, but I can still have my alone time during the week. And Austin has a beautiful campus. Texas, it's amazing down there. And I've been watching Texas football ever since I was like 5 years old with my dad, watching the Red River Rivalry games all year long. I would say it's giving 120% of the time instead of going just 100, because ever since my sophomore year, and we've had a big senior group leave that year, and the coaches have told me I had to take in a leader role, and I think that's what I've been having to improve on the most. And it is kind of difficult to fit into that role because you don't know what to expect at first, but once you get it going, I think you'll learn and pick up things as soon as you keep going. So now in my senior year, I think that's what I'm trying to improve on right now, and then hopefully it carries over to my team to where we can go into a good year. Grandview is an amazing place to be. I could not be more thankful for where I've grown up at. I have the best peer group. I have friends and family that act like my family, and they've all centered me and lifted me up and have helped me throughout this whole way. I have the best coaching staff in the state right now. I mean, Coach Ebner, the best head coach you could play for right now. I have the best position coaches. They always help me, encourage me, lift me up when I need it, just like everyone else does. And I think the team right now that we have is a special group. You know, we just had a big senior group leave again, but now that it's my class's turn to be the senior class, I think we're all very special and very well talented and skilled enough to take over and make sure the younger classes see that, and that we're able to lead them in the right way and make sure that Grandview stays the right place that it's been in.
Come into Cricket Wireless and get nationwide 5G plus a free 5G phone when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
We'll have our cameras at a lot of big games this week, but we can't make it to all of them. Here's some games that you need to keep an eye out for in the Hype. Former district foes go at it in Argyle as the Eagles take on Melissa Friday night. Both are new to 5A and are considered strong contenders in their respective districts. The Cardinals have possibly the best junior defensive end in the state in Nigel Smith and a big-time playmaker at wide receiver in Javon Smith. However, they definitely will be inexperienced behind center, which could play into Argyle's hands. The Eagles are big in the trenches with Riley Van Poppel and Michael Madre and should cause havoc to whoever wins the Melissa quarterback job. A sweet Thursday night tilt is Coppell traveling to Sachse. The Cowboys missed out on the playoffs last year on the last game of the season. This year's team is led by senior defensive back Braxton Myers, who is headed to USC next year. However, Red Barons' bunch is expected to finish at the top of their district again this season, led by a dominant receiving corps. This year on the show, we will be handing out a defensive title belt to a team we covered that puts forth the best defensive effort. This summer, we showed up at practices to hand out these belts, and here are some of their reactions in the buzz.
We're excited about it. Inside High School Sports has gave us the defense title of the belt. Congratulations. Here you go.
Last year in the playoffs, we got after Jesuit, got the Inside High School Sports Defensive Team of the Week, got a good-looking belt. Let's celebrate.
Inside High School Sports is here to present you guys with the defensive belt.
Thank you, Inside High School Sports, for the 2021 defensive title belt for the Brock Eagles. Right here, baby!
We will also be giving out MVP bobbleheads, and here's a couple of guys that you may see getting one this year. Owen Allen at South Lake Carroll will be on the field for his 4th straight year, and last year he picked up 2,100 yards and 32 touchdowns. Expect another stellar year out of him again. Over at Justin Northwest, quarterback Jake Strong is primed for another big season. 2,300 yards and 29 touchdowns through the air, and another 918 yards on the ground helped the Texans gain a share of the district title last year. Strong will be headed to play for Joey McGuire at Texas Tech after his senior year is over. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to get out and see some Texas high school football this weekend. For even more high school football content, be sure to follow us on our social media accounts, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Ted Madden, and I hope we got you all warmed up for all the action this weekend.